In today's episode, Mads asks, what do you feel is the number one most important management lesson that you've learned? To be totally on brand, believe the data. Doubly so if you are the one who pulled it yourself. One of the most interesting phenomenon, I saw this in the Pricewaterhouse CEO survey, I've seen this in the CMO survey, is people don't believe the data. They have a very set opinion about the way things should be, the way that they want things to be, the way things that are aligned to their view of the world. And it's not the case. An awful lot of the time, it is not the case. I was having dinner with a colleague the other day who works in the paper industry. And this person was saying their company wishes it was 1950 again. There was no internet, there's no digital, no smartphone to take away their business because they make paper goods, like notebook paper and stuff. And they're like, yeah, that management really wishes it was 1950 again. It's not. And the data clearly says that people wanting certain types of very old-fashioned products, that audience is declining. There's new ways and new things that the customers want that you have to be able to deliver on. In many clients in my work, I have seen clients who are very clear. They want to believe a certain thing. This is the most important marketing channel. When you look at their attribution analysis, it's not. I had one client who's like, I'm all in on Facebook. I gotta Facebook ads, Facebook groups, I'm all in. It's the place. When we looked at their data, it wasn't the place. Organic search was the place for that particular customer, but it didn't align with the way they wanted the world to be. And so they made some questionable choices that have caused them some distress. So the number one most important management lesson is believe the data. Believe the data, especially if you've pulled it yourself. And that requires a tremendous amount of self-awareness. It requires a tremendous amount of self-honesty. It requires you to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I talked about this in a recent email newsletter and in a previous episode of Do Something With Your Marketing. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to be comfortable with answers you're not going to like. This is true even of people management. Have you ever had an employee that you really liked this person as a person, but their performance wasn't great? Again, believe the data. Yes, this person may be a fun person to have around. They may be good for team spirit or morale. But when it comes to productivity, when it comes to getting the work done, when it comes to keeping customers happy, they didn't get the job done. That is another case where you have to believe the data. You have to believe what you are measuring. And even though emotionally you may be invested in that person, for the good of your business, for the good of your own career advancement, because you have to deliver performance as a manager, you may have to let that person go. So there's no part of management where believing the data and believing in the truth is exempt. We may joke a lot about politicians and things trying to defy reality, but the reality is you can only deny basic fundamental facts for so long before the market, reality, and market force mechanisms catch up with you. We know beyond a shadow of a doubt that climate change is happening. There is a climate crisis. Now, if you're smart, you believe the data, you adapt your business. You figure out, okay, how does this impact our business? How does this impact our strategies? How do we go to market in different ways that can still provide value, but adapt to that reality. We know that a recession is coming. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. What's the timing going to be on it? Is it going to be 6 months? Is it going to be 6 years? You watch the data, you look at the data, you make plans around the data. Katie Rivera and I talked about this recently on the In-Ear Insights podcast, which if you're not subscribed to, please go subscribe to it over at trustinsights.ai/podcast. Pay attention to the economic data. If the data says, hey, things are going the wrong way, that's an opportunity. That is a chance to change your strategies, to plan for multiple scenarios, and then adapt. But you have to believe the data first. If you're like, no, everything's fine, the market's going to continue going up, customers are going to keep buying at the same rate, budgets are going to keep going up, when that doesn't happen, your business may suffer. Believing the data is hardest when you're invested in a certain situation and the situation changes. It's easy to believe in the data after the market has crashed, right? It's easy to believe in it because it's too late for you to make any changes. But when you've got those first inklings that something's not right, that's when it's the most important to believe in the data. Because at that point you can make changes and go with the wave, go with the tide, rather than getting smushed by it on the back end. So those would be all the different ways that believe the data shows up as an important management lesson. It's a tough one because you have to overcome your want and desire for things to be different than they are. That's human nature. It's difficult, very, very difficult. But if you can master that, master yourself, you can manage people better. You can manage adverse situations better. You can beat competitors better because even if you don't want to believe emotionally that a competitor is beating you, if you acknowledge that fact, you can then start to make changes. Believe the data and then make changes based on the data, no matter how much it hurts. That's the number one most important management lesson. As always, please leave your comments below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and to the newsletter. If you're on YouTube, hit that little bell button to be notified when I post a new video, and subscribe to my newsletter over at christopherspenn.com/newsletter. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Want help solving your company's data analytics and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.